If you're looking for your next RPG to sink hours into on Nintendo Switch, this list has you covered. Whether you're here for deep stories, satisfying progression systems, or just that feeling of getting lost in a new world, these are the RPGs that truly stand out. Let's get into it. Triangle Strategy is a tactical RPG that puts you in command of House Wolfert during a continent-wide war between three nations fighting over salt and iron resources. The gameplay revolves around grid-based battles where positioning and elevation actually matter. Putting your units on higher ground gives them serious advantages, and flanking enemies is crucial. What's really cool is the conviction system, where your dialogue choices throughout the story influence which characters join you and which of multiple story paths you'll take. The combat has this risk-reward thing going on, with follow-up attacks and elemental chains that make you think several turns ahead. You'll recruit around 30 different units, each with unique classes and abilities, so building your ideal squad is part of the fun. The story deals with war, politics, and tough moral choices where there's rarely a clear right answer, and the votes your council takes can completely change the narrative direction. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined brings a classic JRPG structure into a smoother, more modern flow without losing its identity. Combat sticks to its turn-based roots, but feels faster and more responsive, with options like auto-battle and smarter AI, reducing unnecessary grinding while keeping strategy intact. The standout system is the expanded vocation system, letting characters mix classes and experiment with different builds, which adds depth to party progression without overcomplicating it. Exploration is driven by a unique fragment-based mechanic, where you travel between past and present to restore lost islands, each one telling its own self-contained story that gradually builds into a larger adventure. This episodic structure keeps the journey engaging and varied, while the diorama-style visuals give every location a handcrafted feel. Combined with improved pacing and quality of life changes, the experience feels more fluid, making it easier to stay immersed in a long, rewarding RPG journey.
Easy peasy.
Octopath Traveler II gives you 8 completely different characters to play as, each with their own storyline, abilities, and starting region on the continent. The combat system uses a break and boost mechanic, where you exploit enemy weaknesses to break their defense, then use boost points you've saved up to unleash devastating attacks. Each character has path actions they can use in towns. The thief can steal items, the dancer can charm NPCs to follow them, the hunter can provoke people into battles. What really hooked me was how you can combine these abilities in creative ways to solve problems and find secrets. The stories range from a revenge tale to a merchant's journey to riches. And while they start separate, there are moments where the paths intersect. Latent powers are this new addition, where each character builds up to a unique super ability during fights. The HD 2D art style makes everything look like a gorgeous diorama, and the soundtrack absolutely slaps during boss fights.
What's our plan of attack? My spear shall strike!
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This is where the Xenoblade saga started, and the Definitive Edition polishes up the original Wii game with better graphics, remastered music, and quality of life improvements. You play as Shulk, who wields the Monado, a sword that lets him see glimpses of the future during combat and in story scenes. The entire game takes place on the bodies of 2 massive dead gods frozen in battle, and you're exploring their remains, which have become ecosystems. Combat happens in real time, where you auto-attack but manually trigger arts, which are special abilities with cooldowns. And positioning matters because some arts deal more damage from the side or back. The vision system is genius. When Shulk sees a future where an ally dies, you can change equipment or use specific arts to alter that outcome. Side quests are everywhere, and mini-rebuild Colony 9 or improve affinity between characters, which unlocks new skill links and heart-to-hearts. Three Houses drops you into a military academy where you choose between 3 different house factions to lead as their professor, and this choice completely changes your playthrough. You're teaching students, building support relationships between them, and then leading them into tactical grid-based battles where permadeath is still a thing. When a unit dies, they're gone unless you're playing casual mode. The monastery sections between battles let you explore, fish, cook meals that give stat bonuses, and have tea time with students to learn about them. Each character has strengths in different weapon types and magic, and you guide their growth through instruction and certification into advanced classes. The calendar system means you're planning out your month, which students to tutor, which faculty to build bonds with, and which battles to prioritize. Combat has the weapon triangle, battalion mechanics that add gambits, and divine pulse, which lets you rewind turns when things go wrong. Unicorn Overlord is Vanillaware's take on tactical RPGs, mixing real-time strategy with RPG progression in a fantasy world you're liberating from Empire control. Instead of controlling individual units in turn-based combat, you command squads that automatically fight when they encounter enemies, but you set up their tactics beforehand in this deep gambit system. You're building an army by recruiting characters you meet, each fitting into different unit types and classes, then organizing them into squads of up to 6. The overworld gameplay has you capturing towns and forts to expand your influence, managing resources, and choosing which story missions to tackle. What's sick is the rapport system, where characters build relationships that unlock team attacks and passive bonuses when they're in the same squad. The tactics customization is ridiculously detailed. You set conditions for when each character uses their skills, items, or guards based on HP thresholds, enemy types, or positioning.
You'll see no harm. I shall protect you!
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake feels like a return to the roots of RPGs, but with just enough modern upgrades to keep it engaging from start to finish. Combat stays true to its turn-based foundation, now enhanced with faster pacing, smarter enemy encounters, and new abilities that add depth without overcomplicating things. Exploration carries that classic sense of adventure, moving across towns, dungeons, and open regions, but the HD 2D visuals give every location a stronger atmosphere with dynamic lighting and detail. The first journey focuses on a lone hero facing a rising evil, while the second expands into a full party adventure with more layered encounters and broader world design. Added story moments and smoother progression help connect both games into one cohesive experience, making it feel less like a remake and more like a refined version of a legendary quest. Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age delivers that timeless JRPG feel while quietly refining almost every part of the formula. Combat remains fully turn-based, but it flows faster and feels more dynamic thanks to flexible party setups, skill trees, and abilities that reward smart planning without overwhelming you. Exploration is just as satisfying, with large, colorful regions, visible enemies, and plenty of secrets that make every area worth checking. What really stands out is the option to switch between full 3D and classic 2D modes, giving the adventure a unique dual style that fits both modern and retro tastes. The story follows the Luminary, a hero tied to a forgotten prophecy, but the journey quickly expands with a strong cast and evolving narrative that keeps things engaging, making it feel like a complete, carefully crafted RPG experience. Persona 5 Royal delivers a standout RPG experience by blending stylish, turn-based combat with a deep, time-driven life simulation that constantly keeps you engaged. Battles revolve around exploiting enemy weaknesses, chaining attacks, and using systems like Baton Pass to maintain momentum, making every encounter feel smooth and strategic. Outside combat, the game opens up into a daily life loop, where managing your schedule, building relationships, and improving personal skills directly impacts your effectiveness in battle. Exploration mixes handcrafted dungeon design with light stealth elements and tools that unlock new paths, giving each palace its own identity. The story follows Joker and the Phantom Thieves as they dive into a surreal world to confront corruption, gradually evolving into a larger narrative about rebellion and identity, supported by a memorable cast and expanded story arcs that give the journey real weight.
Persona! Go down!
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 puts you in a war-torn world where soldiers from two nations, Kevs and Agnes, have 10-year lifespans and exist only to fight. You control Noah and Mio, who lead a party of 6 that defects from this endless cycle to find the truth about their world and the mysterious entity controlling everything. The combat system is real-time, where each character has a specific role, attacker, defender, or healer, and you're chaining arts together while positioning matters for damage and aggro management. Interlinking lets pairs of characters fuse into Ouroboros forms, these massive, powerful beings that completely change combat dynamics and have their own skill sets. The class system is flexible, letting any character learn any class's arts and eventually master them to use cross-class. Chain attacks return, where you're building percentages to extend combos and deal insane damage during crucial moments. That's our pick for the top 10 best RPGs on Nintendo Switch in 2026. Whether you're chasing epic stories or deep gameplay systems, there's something here for every kind of RPG fan. Let us know your favorites, and get ready to jump into your next adventure.